Yo, what's happening, people? Back again for another stream. Do you know what? Get this fucking manager out the club. This manager is a disgrace. Um, he's an absolute disgrace. You know what? Yeah, before the game, Man United, Man City yesterday, obviously 3-1 to Man City. Before the game, I tweeted. I said, if this manager starts with the lineup of Onana, Varane, Lindelof, Dallo, Amrabat, Kobe Minu, Casemiro, Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, and Anthony. I said I predicted a 3-0 scoreline to Man City. I also said if he changed a few of the players and he played Bruno from the right and then played McTominay, I said City will win 4-0. Yeah. I said if he played all three of them, McTominay, Bruno, and Garnacho together, I said 5-0. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Rashford scored a screamer. Yeah. Rashford's goal was a great goal, you know. Not much to say really, you know. No keeper in the world really is going to save that. It's one of those strikes that you hit once every so often. And the fact that it went in the way it did, obviously Edison had no chance. Yeah. But let me tell you this now, yeah. That front four that he played of Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno, McTominay. Let me tell you now, yeah. And in actual fact, it's actually kind of proved my point, yeah, because I've been saying for years that this guy, Bruno Fernandes, why he plays all the time, obviously Garnacho now as well, yeah. The fact that these guys are playing regularly and the front four positions were occupied by those four, yeah, is a disgrace to football, you know, and it's everything that I hate in football. The only reason this manager played that those four there is because they all run. That is the only reason. That is the only reason. Yeah. Now, yeah, they went 1-0 up with a great strike. Yeah. But the problem is, and this is not even hard to work out, yeah. If you're playing with four players that ultimately just want to run with the ball or just run into space, yeah, you're not going to keep the ball. Yeah. Now the problem is if you want to play that way, yeah, and you want to sit in and play with a high line, then by all means, even if you want to play with a low block, you know. But the problem is you need players in the attacking areas of the pitch that keep the ball. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Now I keep hearing people say Man United have injuries and who's gonna play. Let me tell you this right now, yeah. That is the biggest load of nonsense. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. If you're gonna play the way they did yesterday and sit in, yeah, you need players that are comfortable on the ball so that when they do get the ball, they can keep it and either draw a foul, you know, or take some of the pressure off the defense. Yeah. If you want to go with a front four of those four that I mentioned, Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, McTominay, what did you expect? You know, you've got someone like Amad Diallo on the bench, even a Christian Eriksen on the bench. Christian Eriksen can keep the ball. Amad Diallo can keep the ball. The fact that he went with four players that are just runners in the front positions, yeah, you're just inviting pressure. So it's going to be wave and wave of attacks. You know, disgraceful way to set up the team. You know, at least if you want to play that way, as I said, you just have at least one of Eriksen or Diallo in one of those attacking positions, at least someone that has technical security on the ball that is capable of keeping the ball. To play all four of them is a disgrace. It kept breaking down time and time again from either one of those four players. You know, and I know obviously Bruno made the run for the goal and then Rashford hit a great strike. But as I said already, that is a 1 in a million strike that you're going to hit as cleanly as that. And he did. I also see a stat as well, which this is a disgrace. Yeah. Man City had more shots than United had possession. You know, the manager alone should be sacked just for that. Because yes, they're playing up against the best team in the world currently. Yeah. But that's no excuse to be going to the Etihad and being that exposed and having such little of the ball. You know, even when they went 1-0 up, for some reason, they kept trying to press the Man City. Yeah. You can't press players that are that comfortable on the ball. What you need to do, okay, is just sit in. And if you notice what City were doing, they kept going from side to side, trying to work an opening. You know, they got Doku on the left. Doku ain't good enough. You know what I mean? If Grealish is on the left, he would have created more because Grealish is very intricate and he's able to get in between the lines. Whereas Doku, his thing is the pace on the outside, and he was very ineffective. Yeah. The fact that for some reason these players decided to start sprinting out to the ball, getting the ball played around them is poor. You know, you're 1-0 up, just sit in and let Man City try and break you down. Eventually, the way United play, Man City are always going to break them down because when you've got players that are giving the ball away constantly, especially in those front areas, you're gonna keep inviting chances, inviting pressure, and ultimately that's what happened. You know, going on the Rashford foul that everyone keeps saying. Yeah, let me tell you this now. Yeah, and if you know, you really know. Yeah, you see what happened with Rashford there. Yeah, Rashford knew Kyle Walker is probably the only outfield player in defense for Man City that could match him for pace. Yeah, because there's a few times where Rashford had the ball and Rashford is not confident to outstrip Kyle Walker because he knows Kyle Walker is either quicker than him or Kyle Walker can match him. So if you check what Rashford did, yeah, Rashford tried to buy a foul, yeah, minimal contact, but I rate the referee for what he did there because the referee didn't buy what Rashford's trying to do. Rashford only done that because he knows he can't outpace Kyle Walker. I guarantee you now, if it had been either John Stones or a Nathan Ake or a Ruben Diaz, a Rodri, a Bernardo Silva, Rashford would have opened his legs and tried to take them on. But because it was Kyle Walker, he knows he can't outdo Kyle Walker for pace. Yeah. So he had to buy the foul. And obviously from there, Foden, who was the best player on the pitch, just opened his body out. Obviously, poor defending from Lindelof to show him inside. You show him on his right foot. And obviously, Foden's hit a screamer in the top corner. But yeah, just the setup of the manager. The manager didn't come here to win the game. The manager came, yeah, for self-preservation, to try and nick a point and try and contain City for as long as possible. Mark my words, yeah. Any competent manager, yeah, wouldn't have made the changes that he made for a start, and they wouldn't have come there to set up that negatively. You know what I mean? How we can play a front four of the four we've mentioned is a disgrace to football, and it's why I'm getting fed up of watching football because some of the players that constantly keep playing and the way football has gone is a joke, man. Honestly, it's disgraceful, you know. And the quicker the Ineos get rid of this manager, because this manager, he's not turning anything around. He ain't good enough. It's time for people that are fans of him to face it. He ain't good enough, you know. He needs to be out of this club, you know, and United need to move in a different direction, and they need to get some of these players that are playing regularly in this first team out of the club, or demote them to the bench, you know, because yeah, to have that kind of showing against your rivals is embarrassing. Yeah, we know Man City are a top team, but he come here for not a win. He come here to draw the game and to try and nick a result, you know. And you know what? I'm actually happy that Man City got the win because it dispels this myth that you can come to a top team like that and get lucky, you know. Sorry, bear me just 1 minute. Yeah, so it kind of dispels that myth that you can come to a top team and do that. You know, it's a disgrace really to football. You know, so we're going to go on to the player performance. To be fair, not too many good performances. I've seen some people say that the team actually played well. I don't know what game they're watching, and it just shows the standards of the club at the moment. You know, standards of the fans are in the gutter, really. You know, Man United didn't play well at all. You know, Man City didn't really have to play too well. They just got players in certain areas of the pitch that are going to get the job done and make things happen. You know, unlike Man United. And what is funny is that certain players that this fan base keeps pushing will let you down time and time again because they're not good enough. You know, and we're going to go into the player ratings, player performances, should I say, right now. Andre Onana, as I mentioned from last week, I feel Onana's going from strength to question. Had a massive hand in the Rashford goal from his kick, which Bruno ran onto and done well to lay it back. The second goal, people will say he should have saved. I think from there is quite well. Obviously, from a goalkeeper's point of view, he probably thought he should have done better. And other goalkeepers that might look at that think he should have got down early. But I think when you're in the box and you're shooting hard and low like that, it's quite unfair to criticize him in that way to get down. The third goal from Haaland, who by the way was poor. I think it was a good finish, to be fair. So you can't really do much about that. And then Foden's goal, we had no chance of that. His first goal, we had no chance of that. But I think all in all, Andre Onana can be happy with his performance. He's very good. And you know it is, long may it continue. And he's been having a lot of stick this season, but finally it seems like he's kind of showing his worth. You know, the mistakes are few and far between now. And if it wasn't for him in goal, along with some of the other defenders, the scoreline would have been worse. You know what I mean? So I'd say, Andre Onana had a good game. Dalot played very well, very consistent again. You know, it's testament to Dalot that he can go from right back to left back and make it like a seamless transition. You know, for me, he's been Man United's best player this season, the most consistent player. And just like with Onana, hopefully he can continue his form to the end of the season. And then a new manager comes in and sorts this team out, really. And Dalot, along with Onana, is a mainstay in the team. I think Dalot's earned it, you know, and another good performance. Moving on to Raphael Varane. Not much more to be said about Varane, really, from what I've said before. The guy is still world class in my eyes. You know, experienced. He's a leader. You know, if it wasn't for him, Johnny Evans at the back and Dalot and Onana, you're looking at a 4-5-1 probably scoreline. If I'm honest, you know, Varane's just solid, man. And the talk about Varane being moved on, and then you still have the likes of Harry Maguire at the club, Lindelof, and they're trying to move him on because of his wage. Scrap that off. Just give the guy a new contract. Give him what he wants. You know, if you want to bring another defender to cover his injuries, by all means. But this guy needs to be kept at all costs. You know, and was very unlucky to be on the losing side today. And his partner Johnny Evans. I mean, Johnny Evans is a stopgap. You know, Johnny Evans is not someone that's going to be a regular. But when Johnny Evans plays and he comes in and does a job all the time, you know, we know Johnny Evans hasn't got any pace, but his reading of the game, his experience, you know, his technical ability on the ball as well, passing off both feet, is very underrated, you know. And for me, obviously, he's not going to be he's never going to be a regular in the team. But if he's on the books and you've got him to come and do a job when some players are injured or need resting, it's a no-brainer for me. You know, very underrated player. Victor Lindelof at left back. Started off at right back actually, and then they moved Dalot to left back in the second half. I thought Lindelof was okay. You know, obviously we know he's not a fullback, so it's kind of hard to judge him in that sense. But I think that when he had the ball, he used it quite well. And defensively, he wasn't really troubled that much against Doku in the first half. If anything, I think he kind of contained Doku because Doku kept coming back inside. Lindelof wasn't really committing as well. So I thought Lindelof done all right. But as I said before, Lindelof ain't good enough in the long run, you know. And in the summer, personally, needs to be moved on, you know. But yeah, he had an okay game. Casemiro, you know, Casemiro, as I said before, he, like, I can understand his frustrations, you know, because coming from Real Madrid, where you're dominating possession, and you come to play for Man United, and he's got players around him that A, don't keep the ball, B, are tactically ill-disciplined, you know. Obviously, he's having to nurture a young Kobbie Mainoo as well. It's not easy, you know, and obviously Casemiro is getting older now as well. So players running off him is going to happen. But I believe if you're set up in the right way, yeah, it's going to nullify Casemiro's deficiencies in the sense where he won't be getting run off as much. You know, he'd probably be in the right position. But in that midfield area, the onus is on him to kind of run that midfield because he's not getting any help from Bruno. And obviously, Kobbie's still trying to find his way in the game, you know. The second goal where Foden ran off him, I thought it was a bit harsh, you know, because I think he kind of got sucked into the ball and then Foden ran off. But I think in terms of when he had the ball, he was decent on the ball. Obviously, not one of his best games, but I did think that he had a steady game. You know what I mean? And as I said, it's hard for Casemiro because he's come from a world-class team in Real Madrid to playing with this every week, and it must be demoralizing, you know. And it's a joke. But yeah, not a game to remember for him. But obviously, yeah, done what he could. So I thought he had an okay game. Same with Kobbie Mainoo. You know, we all know about Kobbie Mainoo's quality on the ball. That's never in question. Just like Casemiro, really, I think if you get a team around them where it allows them to do what they're good at, then you're going to see better performances. You know, but as long as this team plays the way it does, the likes of Kobbie are going to be drowned by players around them, unfortunately, because the quality of the team overall is just not good enough, you know. And you know, to save this guy from having, if this guy wants to have a great career, the club needs to look at this and think, you know what, we've got a top quality player here in the making. We've got to get players around him that can play. Really simple as that, you know. But he'll learn from the experience, you know. I think what I liked about Kobbie, to be honest with you, is before the game, like they had the camera on him, and Kobbie didn't look phased not one bit. You know, he looked calm, and you can tell he's going to be a top player. He just needs to be in a better system, with better players around him, and you'll see this guy take off. As I said before, for me, he's a future captain for Man United. You know, and long may his rise continue. Then we move on to Scott McTominay. Honestly, I didn't even know he was playing. You know, how this guy starts for Man United is laughable. You know, it is actually laughable. Like, he offers absolutely nothing on the ball. He just offers an aerial threat from corners. You know, and there's not much to say really. Like, he's just not good enough. You know. It's not his fault. He don't pick himself. The manager picks him, you know. As I said to you before, the game, if he plays with Bruno and Garnacho all together, I could see a hiding. And yeah, it was 3-1, but it could have easily been 4 or 5-1, 6-1. You know what I mean? Haaland missed a great chance, open goal. But yeah, Scott McTominay is just nowhere near good enough. And in the summer, he needs to be moved on. and hopefully it happens. Then we move on to Bruno Fernandes. I mean, first of all, the run and the way he held it up was good. I think a positive, and this is the standard I'm looking at with Bruno, is that he did for the first 15 minutes play nice and simple, which is what he should be doing anyway. Yeah, but it did seem like he was looking after the ball a bit more. But in the second half, he was a joke. Let's be honest with you. Where was he? And this is the guy that's been made the captain. This is the guy that a lot of these fans have hung their hat on, and he's just not good enough. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. It's not even personal with him. Like, he's just not good enough for the player that he thinks he is, and the player that a lot of these fans think he is. You know what I mean? He runs around all day, is ill-disciplined to try and show that he's trying hard. You know what I mean? There's a saying, yeah, it's not about running hard, it's about running smart, yeah? And he just runs around to try and show fans that don't know what they're looking for, yeah, that he's trying. You're not trying, in actual fact, you're just putting yourself out of position, and it's making the other players in the team have to cover what you're doing. You know what I mean? You haven't, is that instructions from the manager, or is that just him just doing his own thing? It will be very interesting, because either way, it's done. You know what I mean? You don't press a team like Man City by yourself if it's not orchestrated properly. Too many times I see him just running around, trying to close off the goalkeeper, trying to close off defenders, and they're popping it around him, which means you're now out of the game, and then the team can now get into your midfield. Like, it's just poor. You know what I mean? And a lot of that stuff don't really fool me. I'm wide awake as to what he's doing there. Yeah, it's just a joke, really. But another poor game. And as I said, it's essential that this guy gets moved on. If I come next season and I see in the summer that he's the captain and he's starting again regularly, this club is not going anywhere. You know what I mean? He's arguably one of the main reasons as to why the team play the way they do, and the inconsistency, and hopefully in the summer this is rectified. Then we move on to Marcus Rashford. Besides the goal, didn't really offer much. As I said, besides the goal, didn't really offer much. As I said, the main thing for me is that he spends too much time on the floor. Just put your body in there. And as I say, up against Kyle Walker, who he knows can match him for pace, he's too easy to go down. It's too easy for Rashford to go down and look for a free kick. Not good enough. Obviously his strike was a wonder strike. And nothing can be taken away from that. But his overall game was poor. Just a nothing performance really, apart from the goal. And then Garnacho. Let me tell you now about this guy. As I said, this guy is shit. Like, I don't care what anyone says. He is shit. And he is a symptom of what a mess football is at the moment, because you've got players like this, who are stealing a living, playing regularly. How this guy continues to get game time over Ahmad, is a disgrace. This is someone like Ahmad who's gone on loan to Sunderland in the Championship. Garnacho has not been on loan, and for some reason he's playing regularly in this Man United team, which shows you that Man United are well, as we all know anyway, they're in trouble, because there's no way this guy should be starting week in, week out. It's a disgrace. Let's be honest with you. Another nothing performance. All he does is just run, as I said. Offers no quality. And as I said, until this manager's sacked and a proper manager comes in, this guy's going to continue playing, which is a disgrace. And as I said, in the summer, I'd move this guy on. He's not good enough, or demote him to the bench. There is no way next season, if Man United are being serious, this guy should be starting regular games. Impact sub, fair enough. but that's it. No regular starts, because it's a shambles. Let's be honest. But yeah, it's just same old, really. Same old. And then the subs. I mean, Amrabat. I don't blame Amrabat too much. I mean, the ball that Casemiro gave him, for someone that's not really played regularly, is a bit of a difficult ball. Nonetheless, there is a few things he could have done. He could have played it straight back to Onana, or he could have hooked away with his left foot. But in that area of the pitch, up against someone like Rodri, Rodri's going to get that all day long. He's going to nick it off you all day long, you know. And obviously, we know he ain't going to be the next season, so it's not really nothing really to write home about. He ain't good enough as well. And obviously, Man United need to look elsewhere in the summer. Antony come on, done absolutely nothing. Another guy that needs to be reviewed in the summer. Be hard to get rid of him because of how much they pay for him. But another one that's not good enough. I believe that Antony has a role in a certain system, but under this manager, forget about it. He's not going to do anything at Man United under this manager. You know, yeah, another nothing performance. And then Willie Campbell come on at right back. I thought Campbell done decent when he come on. Didn't really have any doing on the goals that went in. Obviously, it was a good change to put him at right back personally, and then move Dalot, and then put Lindelof obviously back to centre back. But yeah, he had an okay game when he come on. And then the other sub, who's the other one? Amari Fulson. Yeah, why is he coming on? What's the reason for that? Ridiculous, you know. Ahmad don't come on again. Ahmad don't start the game, you know. As I said, this manager needs to go ASAP. Fucking disgrace, this manager. And as well, yeah. Phil Foden, what a player, yeah. Phil Foden is what these people think Garnacho is, yeah. Look at Phil Foden's quality on the ball. And yeah, people will say he's a bit older, he's had more experience in the first team. No. Phil Foden is just a good player, a great footballer. Kobbie Mainoo, at his young age, is a great footballer. Garnacho is not a footballer. He's just a runner. And until people get that through their heads, yeah, you're gonna see the same old nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, footballers need to be respected over players that get numbers or that just show a lot of passion, a lot of running, because that's not the game. Because them players will always get found out eventually, and this is the big problem in football right now. You know what I mean? Foden was class. Erling Haaland, on the other hand, was poor. You know what I mean? And I've said this about Erling Haaland before. The guy's a ridiculous goal scorer, but his general play is shocking. Let's be honest. Yeah. And then obviously he comes away with a goal after having a poor performance. And this is Haaland all over. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, another shocking result and another poor performance from the same old players. You know what I mean? Yeah, and obviously next game is Everton at Old Trafford. I can see Everton nicking a draw there. That's the honest truth. I can see Allardyce. I can see Sean Dyche setting up in a way and nicking a result, because United ain't got nothing attacking wise going forward to hurt anyone, you know, with the players he's playing, you know. So on to the next game. So yeah, hope you guys like my stream. You know, it's disappointing result, disappointing performance, but I hope you guys liked it anyway. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and smash the like button. And I'll catch you guys later on in the week. And hopefully United can put in an improved performance against Everton, which, let's be honest with you, is very unlikely. And see where they go from there. Take it easy.